Welcome to the YCNU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the YCNU podcast. Again, I'm Cadu Medina, your host for today's episode, and I'm here with the one and only Robyn Bryce. I'm so excited to have you here, Robyn. Why don't you start by introducing yourself to us? Give us a little bit of a background on you and your role here at Yavapai College.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Robyn Bryce, as you said. I'm Special Programs Manager here at Yavapai College. I'm a project manager. I get to kind of like play with all things nerdy, immersive learning, VR, XR. I get to play with some AI, get to be a change agent, and it's really exciting. I really love my job. Yeah.
I mean, that title alone is just like, okay, she's only working in amazing stuff, which you are.
Yeah.
But before we get there, because I know there's a lot to be talked about here, give us a little background here on Robyn Bryce. You know, where from? How did you end up here at Yavapai College and doing what you're doing here at Yavapai College with all the technology and AI and all the cool stuff that you do here? Where was Robyn before?
Well, originally I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go Steelers. And lived there for 29 years. And when I was 29, I was like, I want to get out of this town and see what's up there. I've never been to Arizona, but I've always wanted to be here. So I just kind of packed up my stuff. I put my job application out there. I was a teacher at the time, K-12 education.
Nice.
And put my application out there. And about a week later, I got a call. My first stop was in Bullhead City. If you've never been, it's incredibly hot. You think Phoenix is hot. Bullhead City is very hot. But was there for a few years and said, I can't handle this heat. Drove through Prescott for another job interview. I said, Prescott, this is where I think I want to be. And again, put my job application at Prescott Unified School District and got a job there. Worked at that school district for 15 years. Years, yeah. And I just happened to be looking online and saw a job posting at Yavapai College for an instructional designer. And I said, well, let's throw that out there. Let's see what that is. So I got that job as the instructional designer here at Yavapai College at the TELS department. Thank you, Thatcher, very, very much. And about a year later, this AI VR thing kind of was popping off. And I ran into the president and I was like, hey, we have a very short window here. There's some really cool things that we can do like in this space. Like, you know, let's do some stuff. And before I know it, I got myself into this position where I get to do all the cool things that I thought that we could do. And it's been pretty cool and pretty fun.
What did you teach when you were teaching in school?
Oh, thank you. For a long time, I was an English teacher. Okay. And again, my propensity for like what possibilities like exist out there. There was this, I had been working a little bit in video editing and film. I got myself on some independent film crews as a script supervisor. If you don't know, these are the people that look for like they don't look for the mistakes in film, but they help make sure that the mistakes don't happen in film. Take notes. You wanted this shot. Just kind of really help organize, help the director organize things that are going on. And my principal at the school said, hey, there's this old film studio that kind of shut down in the 90s. Does anybody have interest in it? And I raised my hand and I was like, hey, I think that's kind of cool. So I became the film and media arts instructor over at Prescott High School. Then I did that for 8 years. I finished out my job there doing that for 8 years. But then I also added at the very end, saw an opportunity for them to be like an emerging STEM lab and got some grants to build a STEM lab over at Prescott High School. And that was very cool. Thank you, Jewish Community Foundation. I really appreciate you. But, you know, just once again, I've just been an innovator and just like to do cool stuff like in my job. So, but I was a teacher.
So your background in technology here, you know, that led you to be working with all the technologies here at Yavapai College is essentially just you fell into it. You were just a big admirer of it, like an early adopter, and decided, you know, I like this technology stuff. And that's how it all started.
I think that I've always been a bit of a nerd. I will admit, like when it was time for me to go off to college, I'm not sure that I really had the confidence. I was like, Mom, Dad, what should I do? And I think, like a lot of parents at that time, looking at a girl, hey, why don't you be a nurse? Why don't you be a teacher? And I was like, okay. I tried nursing for a little bit. I wanted to be a nurse anesthetist. Chemistry was very hard for me. And then I became a teacher, and I always like to write and read. And so English seemed, pretty logical, and that's the path that I followed. But when I was a child, I always loved to like tinker and put things together. And but that just never kind of seemed, I just never realized that path for myself. And like I said, I don't think and no fault of my parents. I mean, obviously it's my responsibility to decide the path that I want to take. And then but in teaching, I was always an early adopter of technology.
Right.
Like I was one of the first to kind of do quasi-hybrid, online and in person. I definitely wanted like a computer lab, like in my classroom, and had these older computers that kind of took forever to get logged in, but, made it happen. And any kind of technology teaching tool that was out there, ed tech tool, attended ed tech conferences. So even though, my path was the teaching path, I always sought those technologies and those emerging trends in my job. And I just think that I'm very grateful that those kind of opportunities that I took advantage of brought me to where I am with the knowledge base that I have. And it's been a pretty cool journey. I don't regret any of it, for sure.
That's really cool. And the reason why I'm asking all this, the background questions here is because one might think that you are a computer scientist or someone who has, made a living just developing technology, because that's what you work with almost every day and all that. But it goes to show like the other side of AI, right? The side of application. It's a tool. It's the thing that can help us get somewhere, that can develop. And I feel like you're a good example of how AI came into your life as a tool because you were looking for opportunities to further advance your career and, whatever you were working on, and we'll get there. But I love that you don't have that super technical background in technology, but you are now, utilizing and implementing things around AI and technologies here at Yavapai College. And this is awesome.
I would even say that I credit AI, and I don't think my boss would mind me saying it. I credit AI with actually helping me get this job that I had. I had a meeting with some people talking about the potentials of things, and ChatGPT and I had a lovely conversation and helped me develop a plan, and was able to say, hey, here's some things that I think that we could look into. And I say that AI continues to help me keep this job, not only helping me with the administrative tasks that I do every day with the emails and planning and things like that, but always just discovering new ways that we can use this tool to help us, and engaging in some of the new tools that are being created to help us learn information and be successful in our jobs, and really add a day to our work week, if you will.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I love that. Well, and then we'll get more into the things that you do. Yeah. AI is one of them. But let's kind of back up a little bit here and tell us, what does a typical day look like for you here at Yavapai College? What's your favorite part of that routine? I know you are all over the place, and it took me forever to get a minute with you here to record this conversation. What does it look like, a day in Robyn's shoes?
I don't know if I would say that any of my days are pretty typical. I think probably the thing that I do the most is have conversations with people about plans and ideas, and helping move tasks and things forward. So I say my day is filled up with like a lot of meetings with different committees and different people and different individuals. And then I would say also another part of my day is playing. I heard about this new tech tool. Let's dive into it. I don't think I wish I would spend more and more time playing. But those conversations that I have, I get to talk with people that have said, hey, I tried out this tool. Have you tried it yet? And that's often how I find out about some of the new and cool things that we're doing. And of course, then at least once a week, taking a walk over to our eatery and having lunch with someone, because that's it's very, very important. But yeah, just planning and playing and talking. I would say that's a pretty typical day for Robyn.
Beautiful. Well, speaking of playing, can you tell us about one of these playtimes or a project initiative that you've been working on that is super exciting to you currently? I know you work in so many different things, but what's the one thing?
So many different things, but I think the one that's most exciting right now, and we're getting lots of traction on, is this MXR program, which stands for Media and Extended Realities. and I'll explain what this is. For like my first year of the job, I was in immersive learning, right? So I was bringing VR to the college, and we were bringing it in a way that students were using it in their classrooms with teachers, and taking experiences out to the community. But again, I took a look at this and said the potential here doesn't just lie for us to bring these technologies to our classrooms for students to use them in their education, but this is a job of the future. This is a future trend, and we need to be on top of educating our students and getting them prepared for this future. Right. So working with some industry experts, working with some of our local instructors, and some of our campus leads and leadership, right, came up with this Media and Extended Realities certificate, which is a lovely blend of art, computer science, 3D modeling, and CAD.
Wow.
It really blends a lot of these different skill sets so that students can create these VR experiences, these immersive experiences, these AR experiences, because these are going to be the tools that we see them in health. We see it in healthcare, right? We see, surgeons being able to practice in these environments. We see them in education, where students being able to take field trips and go to different places. We see it in marketing. We see it in real estate. And so having students be able to gain this skill set where they can also enter into these different markets is very interesting and very right, cool. And so just wanted to provide, an opportunity for our students to do this. So we created this 1.5 year long, 33 credit curriculum that culminates in this awesome capstone project where students will be able to really hone their skills in project management and client service and build a portfolio for themselves, and just super, super excited about, the potential that lies here.
Absolutely.
And we got some students already registered in the program. So that's really exciting.
How did you find about this technology and this methodology to teach students about this? Did you find this implemented somewhere else at a different college and then brought it to our college, or you kind of started from opportunities that you found here within the college, and then, let's just put a program together that we can kind of teach our students and get a certificate here in 1.5 years or so to go? How does that go about? Because I'm sure that this is all over the place, right? But you have to have that foresight to really kind of bring it all in together and then package it in a way that, okay, we can teach some people, these skills, and so they can go to the marketplace and get a job and all that. How did this MRX kind of happen here for us?
I think that it's a mix of a lot of different things. First of all, just in that initial year when I was looking for different opportunities and how we can bring emerging technology to our classes, I myself was also looking at how can we build these experiences, right? Because it's cool that we're going out and we're purchasing different things, but how can we create custom experiences? How can we create digital twins for our environment? How can I create assets and different things? And so taking a lot of classes, Unreal Engine from Epic Games. They had this awesome free week-long conference for teachers where they just really showed off a lot of their technology and understanding this is kind of a really there's a lot of work that goes into it, but there's definitely this lower barrier to entry. Much like some of the other technologies we've seen, like web design, you used to have to be super coder. Right. And now we have very drag and drop systems. So you still need coding and you still need these backgrounds, but also these platforms that are being made for people to be able to create these things is definitely coming down. And, again, as a teacher, we think about the higher order of learning and think about things like Bloom's taxonomy. And when you get, knowing and how to engage in different things is one thing, but then the ability to create things is ultimately, the highest level of education, the highest level of implementation, the highest level of showing off your skills. Right. So I think there's definitely a part of that goes into this. It's cool that we're using this, but how can we create this? And then not just about us as a college and internally creating it, like me as a wannabe developer, or how can we find a developer? But if I am looking for this skill set, clearly there is a need for this skill set. So then you began talking to other instructors, began reaching out to an advisory board, even began looking at some of our sister schools, if you will, some other places that were out there like Arizona State University and the things that they're doing. And they, have their media and, it's not called Media and Extended Realities. I can't remember what their program is called, but just having these different programs that exist out there. So definitely our colleges are doing different things. And clearly there is a need for this, and other institutions see it as a need as well. And there has, and I know this is continuing on from that question, but even just in my research and is this a possibility? Do we want to see this the job market skills and stuff? We're seeing that there are more and more postings for jobs like this. And so, I think that's where all that kind of came from,
Well, see the need, fill the need, right? So kind of see that happening out there in the community, that need for that type of training, and then look inside and see if we have the resources to make that happen, pull the resources together and boom, package it. Here we go. Is this initially offered to students that are already enrolled in computer science here? Or this is for anyone? This is for anyone.
They can, declare this. But I also think that you bring up an interesting point. Like, again, this is such a cool mix of art, user experience, of CAD, of computer science. So this could be like a yes and for students, right? I'm taking these skills in computer science, but you know what? If I take this class, and this class, I can also, get this certificate as well. And so it's open to whoever wants to register for it. If you have a, bit of a nerd mind, a bit of a creative mind, and if you want to be a part of something new, I think that this is for anyone and of any age. Whether you're like if you're an artist, this is for you. If you're a gamer, this is for you. If you're a computer science major, this is for you.
If you're a graphic designer, you're interested in kind of going in the user experience, type of area where you're developing the user experience technology for apps and all that. Boom, that would be a certification that you want to have so that you're able to develop these environments and all that.
And I think that you also bring up an interesting point. One of the things that I love to talk about with this is, and I talked about it before with like web design, how those skill levels have been brought down. Video makers, right? It used to have, you needed all this equipment and you really needed to know like all of this like intense software, right? But now with your phone, you can make and edit video and content for social media or movies. I mean, like a whole movie has been shot on an iPhone just to show that you can actually do it. And it was beautiful. Web design, that's another one. Even flying drones and things like that. So I really think that this is going to be one of those jobs that exactly like I am a realtor and I know this skill set. I am a marketer and I know this skill set. I am a teacher and I know this skill set. And I definitely see this as being one of those job trends in the future, one of the skills that you can add to your resume that will absolutely make you more employable. So it's
awesome.
Just exciting.
It is very exciting. And let me understand here too, you are not teaching this certification, right? But you are putting it together. You're kind of identifying the opportunities out there and then kind of helping some of our faculty put this curriculum together. Is that
I would say
fair?
That's
how
accurate.
it goes?
Yes, exactly. I'm a big.
You're the explorer. You do the initial digging, and then someone else will kind of take that over and start teaching that.
Exactly. And again, we have instructors from all over the campus. Many of our courses already exist in our catalog. We have 4 new courses that are the MXR, the Media and Extended Reality courses, starting with the environment, like being the architect of the environment, to learning more and more how the XR and how you can implement these XRs, like create these kind of environments, and then to ultimately creating a full portfolio project. But all of those skill sets that you learn from all of our instructors, the VGD, the computer science, the art classes, the CAD classes, all of those things, the 3D modeling, all of that really comes into play into this culmination. And it's very cool and it's very exciting. And I'm not teaching it, but I'm helping support it. I'm helping with those industry professionals, making those connections, helping with marketing. Like really, this is my baby. This is my baby.
You're helping bring it to life,
yes.
right? Design it and kind of hand it off to our faculty that can then teach that. And so this is already available in our
curriculum in our
curriculum.
Yes, it's already there. It's in our course catalog.
People can enroll it right now.
Yep, progression plan.
Wow.
Yeah, and I do want to say that even though I'm like the supporter and the digger, if you will, the explorer, I did not do this alone. Big shout out to Lindsay Maston, who really helped me, put this together. Again, big shout out to a lot of our industry partners that really gave me feedback on, hey, this is the curriculum that we're looking at doing. What do you think of this progression? Huge shout out to Perry Baker and Philip Reed, who, really helped me, guide me in like, this is the ways that we, need to do this. Even just the conversations that I've had with, our budget people and our provosts, just, helping guide and ask the questions on and how this is going to be legit and how we're going to move this forward. And then, of course, our MXR, teacher who is helping me, Roger Cotton, who is helping me develop these courses and who's going to be our instructor for these courses. So, I mean, again, this is not, even though a lot of times I just got a phone call yesterday and they were like, oh, this MXR program. Yeah, I think that's Robyn Bryce's thing. So I know that, but it is, but also like we can't do this without the people that we work with. And I just think that it's important to give props and shout outs to all those people that helped make this happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you're like our Indiana Jones of technology here, Robyn. This is definitely one of them, but I know you've been up to a lot more than just that, right? I know that we've been talking a lot about AI and how this is all going to be integrated into our curriculum, and not just in terms of how we utilize it to teach, but how we teach how to utilize it. And, so the future generations can continue to develop technology for AI and all that. Anyways, I'm going to stop right there because this is a field that I don't even understand so well, but I know that you are spending a lot of time in kind of trying to bring this to our reality here in our community. Tell me a little bit more about all this artificial intelligence work that you've been doing around our community and, just maybe that's another project, or this is a variety of different projects.
I think that my job when it comes to AI, because I am not a developer, right? I am not a coder. Though again, there's an argument to be made that when you engage with AI, like all of us are coders because it's a large language model, and we can we're talking to a machine in a language that it understands, and it really can be super useful to do a lot of cool things. And I think that is my job, is to how can we use this technology in all the different avenues. And I don't even understand all the different avenues or know all the different ways, right? I mean, it's excellent at actually like writing code. I've been actually playing around with it to do different things, like make me a code that does this, and like trying and playing it and see if it works. But some of the tasks that I like to use it for a lot is obviously the administrative tasks, right? Sometimes I'll pound out an email and say like, hey, brush this up for me. Sometimes I'll say, hey, I have to come up with this idea. Like, here's some thoughts that I have. Like, let's talk this out and what could be a good plan. Sometimes I'm trying to develop milestones for things, and it can help me develop those schedule and those like milestones of like when things should happen. And I'm like, but no, we need to make it happen faster. Oh no, let's stretch that out longer. And so, and we just had a lovely podcast actually earlier this week. We recorded it. It's going to drop on 11/22 with nice. Some people from NAU and the Education and Economic, the AIEE. The Institute for Education and Economics. And they have developed, Dr. Lindsay and Dr. Geston have developed the K-12 guide for AI. And, this understanding that this is not going anywhere. This AI is not going anywhere. And so this is something that not only we need to be using in our jobs to the levels that make us feel comfortable, and even pushing boundaries to the ways that don't make us feel comfortable, obviously with respect to privacy and different things like that, but also teaching these skills to our students. Again, it comes back to our students. This is why we're in this job of education, right? Is to help our students be prepared for what happens tomorrow. And so I think that it's important for us as an educational institution to be, for our faculty, for our staff, for ourselves, to be comfortable with it in different ways, and to provide opportunities for our students to use it in class in different ways, again, with respect to ethics and different things like that, right? So that as we send these people out into the world, our students of all ages, that it will prepare them for the jobs. I mean, we're seeing more and more job postings that are including things like AI prompter, or, have ability, with use of AI. And I think that we're just doing a disservice if we don't use it and we don't encourage it in the ways that we think are responsible within our courses, within our classes. And so that is my job, is to use it. I find all these different cool tools. Obviously, ChatGPT, I think, is one of my favorites, but there's so many cool ones that I just discover all the time that could just reduce our time to task. Things like, Scribe How, and how I could just click through the different things and it automatically creates a how-to document that I could then share with my students or share with other people, because people ask me all the time, how do you do this? Well, this is how you do it.
Right.
Things like Notebook LM that allow you to feed in huge amounts of information and then create a really cool podcast that sounds just like us talking here. And then I can listen to that on my way into work and just really absorb that information. And when I say that it really adds a day to our work week, it really can cut down on some of those times to task, and it can be a think partner. And in the podcast that we had a couple weeks ago, we met with Dr. Punya Mishra from Arizona State University. Mm-hmm. Love him. Innovation. But I really liked his take on it with, let's not use it for doing the same things that we always do. Again, like writing emails and things like that, or creating the same assignments that we've always created. But how can we use it in ways that really push our boundaries and push our creativity? And one of the things that I thought was cool is he brought up, you have a really difficult conversation that you need to have with someone. Engage in AI in that conversation. Run it like a case study. Run it like a scenario. Ask AI to be a person that has this personality, a person that has a different personality. And then it allows, me as a leader, it allows me as an instructor to, this is how this conversation might play out. So when I'm in a situation where somebody asks me a question, or when I find myself in a situation where I need to have a hard conversation with a student or with or a good conversation, right? I'm better prepared for those conversations. Right. It helps. Yeah. Honestly, the machine can help you build better relationships and rapport with people, which I think is one of the most important skills that we need to have, is building those rapport and those relationships.
Absolutely.
As well as critical thinking. Don't forget about the critical thinking.
Which, by the way, just a caveat here, we will have that presentation here on this podcast, right?
Yes.
It'll probably be the episode after this one here comes out, the one with you. But I'm excited to share that episode as well, because I think you guys did a great job interviewing that gentleman, which I forgot his name.
Punya Mishra, Dr. Punya Mishra.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many good information in there, so many good insights. Now, let me just kind of cut back here, take the back alley and ask the question. As you are looking for all these opportunities to bring technology, artificial intelligence into our world so that we can all, be on the front end of the future, right? Implementing all these tools and experimenting and everything else. What is the process like for you to find these opportunities out there, these technologies, bring it to the college, present to some people, I don't know who, you would have to do that first or second, to then move on to implementing it and making sure that it's shared with our community, our students, staff, faculty, and everything else? What is the process like to bring something like that? Because I know there's been like an insane amount of pushback in technology in general, but especially AI everywhere. Mm-hmm. But maybe nowhere more than in education, right? There's a lot of articles and podcasts and interviews with people supporting and completely, just shutting it down as the worst thing that happened and all that. So back to us now. When you identify these opportunities, and I know you've implemented a few things already here in the college, when you find these opportunities, what's the process to make it a reality for our community? Okay, that can't be a simple thing. So.
No, and even just the word process for Robyn Bryce is not a simple thing. Like, right. Shout out to Janet Nixon, Myers-Briggs. I am an ENFP, and whenever I find things that are exciting, I get really excited about it. And my first thing is like, hey, everybody, like, let's check this out. But I do have to like slow down sometimes and think about what is the process for implementing this, for rolling this out. So usually I find out tools because first of all, I have a lot of different things that I'm registered for, right? So I'll get newsletters, or, I'll read something, I'll see something. I'm on the TikTokies. I love to watch TikTok. Or again, someone will reach out to me and say, hey, have you seen this new cool tool? Right. So then I play with it. Then from there, it usually involves some sort of communication with someone, whether I'm reaching out to a couple specific people and sharing the tool and saying like, hey, you should check this out. I think that this could make a really cool use for your job, or, hey, I'm going to put on a workshop. We have our different days of learning that we put on, and I'll put on a workshop there, or I'll hit up TELS and say, hey, I know about this really cool tool. Can we put this in the TELS newsletter? Right. So it's usually about some sort of like sharing, and then sharing again, and then sharing one more time, and then following up like after I've shared, hey, have you tried this thing yet? I'm really lucky whenever someone will call me back and say, hey, I really liked what you shared at XYZ. I really like this email. Like, can you help me use this tool? And of course, I am down. Let's jump on a Zoom call. Let me come over to your office. Let me show you how to do these things. Definitely like the one-on-one training. So I think, I find this tool, usually it's this broad swath of I'm throwing it out there, hoping someone, implements this and takes this on, a lot of conversations. But really that change happens, person by person and a little bit of a time. So the process is throw a lot of things at the wall, but then also like focus on some of those people that are really interested in it, because it is going to be those champions that help move things forward.
Absolutely.
It's going to be those people in the departments that will continue the conversation, because Robyn Bryce doesn't get a chance to I can't believe I'm talking about myself in the third person.
You are an institution, Robyn. Come on.
But I can't always have all of the conversations, and though I definitely feel that part of my job at this college is to help, to be a change agent and to help, see things that are on the horizon and help move us in different directions. I can't do it without people being on board with me.
Absolutely.
And so, encouraging people that are excited about things, helping people that are champions find the information that they need, and encouraging people. And then again, just check and just having a smile on my face. And because like you mentioned, sometimes people are not, like into it. Right. And so
not welcoming to change. Let's just put it that way.
Or even just the new technology, or it's fear, or whatever it is. And those are all legitimate things. Right. And so I definitely know that I come to things with a lot of excitement. But I want to work harder and be better. I think I do okay at it, but I can be better at listening really to people's fears and the reasons why they're afraid. And I don't brush them off for sure. I acknowledge that their fears are legitimate, right? August 29th, I said it in 2024, but it was actually in 1997, August 29th, Skynet was turned on, and if you're Terminator fans, right? So, but also this is a reality of our world, and it's been turned on, and it is not going to be turned off. Right. And so just encouraging and being kind, I think that's a huge part of my process as well, is being enthusiastic and kind and being human. Those relationships I think are so important, because no one's going to listen to me if I don't acknowledge that I am speaking to another person on the other side of the table, if you will.
And I'm sure it helps to have the backing and the support of our entire leadership as well. I know this is a priority for the college, and we want to be in the forefront of all this and not a bypasser, just a bystander in, how this is going to evolve and be presented to everyone here. So I'm glad that you are the one doing all this, because it takes a Robyn Bryce to get all this done. And which, by the way, I know MXR is one of the implementations that took you a while to get done, and it's a reality. We have a certification, available for students to get there. But can you share any other maybe implementations that, it's a reality to the college right now, and it's out there and available to our students and all? Anything else that you have already, made a reality for us? Because I know there's a lot of tentatives and, projects that we're still forecasting for, but there's a lot of things that have been implemented.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Obviously, I spoke about immersive learning in VR, that's super exciting. And another thing that we're doing that we just got some huge traction on it this week. Matter of fact, just got off a call meeting before I came into this one, was micro-credentials. We're moving forward with our micro-credentials initiative, and that, kind of falls under workforce as well as academics. And if you don't know what micro-credentials are, there are these, shorter verifications of the learning, skills, knowledge, abilities that students that are business partners, that are on campus, professional developments. These badges is another word that we call them, right? These things that we can put in our email signature that show that we can talk about in our job interviews, that we can encourage students to talk about and share on their social media and in their job interviews, that like, hey, I have this skill set. I have earned this skill set. And this skill makes me an employable person. Oftentimes, especially like at our community college, at technical colleges, we might have students that come for a few classes or come for like the certification or come, they started college, they stopped college, they come back to college. And so, but that learning that happened while they were here does not mean that it's not valuable and valued learning. Maybe because they didn't receive the AAS yet or the bachelor's yet, they still have valuable skills that they have learned like while they are there. So these micro-credentials are ways, whether they're for credit, non-credit, again, like internal professional development, things that our business partners might reach out to help create some kind of training program that at the end of it, there's this little micro-credential that is provable to an employer, provable to the student, that, hey, I have learned something. And we're seeing, micro-credentials have been around for a minute, but again, much like the VR initiative, there is something going on in the world of education where it is gaining more and more traction. Even our Higher Learning Commission, which is our the body that certifies us that our classes are like, yep, this is good. This actually, you get a certificate for, not a certificate, but the credit that you're getting is a valued credit. We see that it's right. They're even looking at like these alternative pathways. And just even the idea of like individualized education, that I can take some classes in this, some classes in this, some classes in this, earn these different micro-credentials. And they might also lead to some alternative pathway, some, innovation guru, if you will, Right. And so I just think that it's very exciting. And we've been, a lot of work has been done on this for several years at our college by people before I even got involved in it. Shout out to Laurie Dreyer, again, Philip Reed. It's definitely a cross-departmental effort. And it's one of the things that I love about my job is I really do get to work with a lot of different people. So people in the library, people in our REDC, people in our faculty, people in HR are very excited about this and part of this effort as well. And so we expect to fully launch that spring 2025. Very, very excited. So we'll be offering micro-credentials in spring 2025. And so I think that's also another really exciting thing that I'm working on right now. I'm super proud of. Yeah.
That's super exciting, Robyn. Thank you for sharing. And that's available to all students or people from the community as well can tap into.
Yes, and
beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll have more information.
How do students sign up for that?
Well, we're getting there, right? Okay. We've been a lot of work, but we officially kind of got like the go ahead to like move forward on this. But there'll be offerings, opportunities. I'll be talking to Tyler about marketing. Maybe I'll be even kicking it out to you and like, hey, how come let's do another podcast and talk about micro-credentials. But they'll be available to students from the classes that they're going to take, as well as like outside of those classes, things like, Janice Sudi and student engagement will be offering this for like, different leadership opportunities for our students, even outside of like courses. Again, Laurie Dreyer and the work that she's already done with some of our business partners and work she's done with like Spectrum and Verde Valley Leadership are waiting on some micro-credentials, and we'll be, awarding those to them, as well as continuing with some work with, Corey Carlson and Vince over at the REDC and offering them to some of our business partners that want to offer students whether it's personalized trainings or tapping into the education that we already have here at the college and the courses that we already offer, from computer skills to soft skills to AI skills. Right. More information to follow. TBD.
We'll follow up on that with
Please do.
All right. I got a big question here for us to kind of wrap up this podcast. Before we get into some rapid fire questions, I have one more question for you. I'm sure you ask this question all the time. So let's see what comes out. What is your vision for the future of AI, extended reality, augmented reality technologies in our Yavapai College community? What is your vision for it? What do you think we can expect of this future?
One of the projects I say that I didn't kind of mention is like the WIN coalition that I'm a part of, right? And so I know you're asking about my vision, but again, my vision is nothing without like the people that I work with, right? And so the WIN coalition is a group of people that we have that is just this community of practice where we get together and we're talking about how can we move the college forward? And so I think our vision, not just the WIN coalition, but also, of leadership of a lot of the people that I work with, is for Yavapai College to be a leader. I know that we're in this, we're a community college in rural Arizona, but we're not. We're so much more than that. So these technologies that exist.
We've got Robyn. They don't.
It's true. But I think that we are and are going to continue to be leaders in this space. We're going to be forward thinkers. We are going to keep because the things that you have mentioned, virtual reality, AI, these are just some of the emerging trends. And even them themselves, they're changing already, in the existence that we know them today into what we have today is so much different than what we had yesterday, or even, think of November 2022 when AI first came out. AI has been around for for a long time, Siri and these kind of things, but, ChatGPT really kind of changed the game. And putting AI really out there is a word that has become ubiquitous in our world and the things that we're talking about. And so I think that we're going to continue to play and engage and do what we can to stay responsibly on the bleeding edge of things so that we can bring the best educational experiences to our students, really try to make use of this so that we can be the best educational institution within our practices for our community. And again, that's not just with AI, that's just with all emerging tech. So I just think that we're just going to continue to, as Ryan Gray likes to say, punch above our weight. And we do.
I love it.
Yeah. We're thinking big and we're going big and we're swinging hard. And I think we're hitting home runs. And I don't think that's going to stop now or anytime in the future. My enthusiasm is certainly not going away. A lot of leadership's enthusiasm is certainly not going away. As you mentioned, strategic priority number 6 is AI and VR integrated into things. We are doing that. Again, with the digital credentials, I think leadership has a really good eye on, what is needed. And again, the work that we do within the trenches, within the different departments, within the WIN coalition, I just really think we're searching for ways to help and move with enthusiasm, with conversations, these things that are important to our, not just our college, but our world and our community. So we're going to continue to be awesome. That's what I see.
I love it. I love it. And I'm just so glad that I hope that we have a lot of people, but especially outside our Yavapai College community here, but from our community, from, our local community here too, Yavapai County and all. I hope that they're listening to this because this is something about our college that I don't think most people know, that we spend this much time, that we have this much effort invested in being the leader in this area, and making sure that we're bringing all this information back, we're packaging it and making it available to our students, to our community here, so they can move the needle in their own lives and their own careers and so forth. So thank you for doing the exploring work for us, being our Indiana Jones in the technology world out there and bringing back to the college all this amazing stuff that you get to implement.
I love it.
And see it grow inside. Love it. Thank you. Well, I have a couple of questions for you here, just a rapid fire, let's get to know Robyn into a deeper level here. Okay, let's kind of philosophize a little bit here. If you had a magic wand to grant every community college one skill for their future, what would it be and why?
I think a good skill is something that I've learned more about recently, and that would be future forecasting, the ability to look out onto the horizon, see what's ahead. The now is very important, but what's coming and keeping your eyes up is also incredibly important. So the ability to see the signals that exist on the horizon, catch the little nuggets that exist in news reports or in our social media or in our conversations that are the the trends, the hidden trends, or the things that could become trends, and just, preparing for them in the ways that we can. We don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know what exactly is going to happen in the future, but thinking about those things and having those conversations. So if that becomes our future, if that becomes our reality, we are more prepared for what is to come.
Love it. And if you don't have that forecasting capability, do what I do. Surround yourself with people like Robyn so that you can just mirror. If you could put a billboard anywhere on campus, we have a few, with anything on it, what would it say and why?
Oh, gosh. What would a billboard, like Yavapai College, where you can be your best. Really, I think our billboard does a great job of just advertising us and what our students can be in our community. And I think that we serve that purpose and have that, fill that need that exists out there. And so, all of our slogans over the years, you can and be more. I think that they really do embody, who we are and who our students can be and the potential that lies within that partnership. Whether you need us for a credit or two, or whether you want us for the whole degree, or need us now and then in the future and then in your children's future. We are that little space in our community for education, for community involvement. And so can we fit all that fit all that on a banner?
Let me rephrase then. We're not talking third person again here. If Robyn could put anything on a billboard, what she would put on that billboard?
You are awesome.
Let's just leave it at that. I love it. Any final thoughts, Robyn?
Just thank you for having this conversation. This was so delightful, and I'm super proud and grateful that I get to share what we're doing here at the college, because I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have the best job on campus, and the ability to get to talk about the things that we're doing and show how proud I am of what we're doing here. And hopefully maybe someone hears this and it inspires them to whether it's come here or just be better themselves in their own ways, explore possibilities. Thanks for giving me a voice. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Robyn Bryce, my favorite cat here at Yavapai College. She's just awesome. We're definitely going to have you back here, Robyn, with more, because you're always up to something good and new. But we're going to leave it at that for today.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I look forward to the next time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the YCNU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.